Conservative UK governments that have done Wales Rail down, the Conservatives who've recently rowed back on electrification, 13 years of Labour governments before then that failed to get any electrification done, north, south, east or west. Labour government, I think I'm right, that left us with the laughable zero growth Arriva franchise. Laughable, that is, if it wasn't so serious for the thousands of Valleys Lines commuters squeezing onto trains day after day, or north-south travellers sitting on trains for 5 hours that are really best suited for half-hour or hour-long journeys. So yes, we're all excited about the prospect of new, fresher trains. I was on the Enterprise and Business Committee in the last Assembly when we considered in great detail the dire straits, the dire state actually of the current rail system that we have in Wales. And passengers know that it's about time we had better trains because they've seen pictures of what they have in other countries. They've been on holiday and they've travelled on trains more suited to this century rather than the middle of the last. So I would urge the government to be realistic in your expectations about how grateful people should be for what we have now, or what is being promised after suffering the service that they have done for so long. Now, reading sections of the statement issued by you yesterday, and we're grateful for that statement, that there's an element of sadness in many ways. The quality of the franchise deal is very, very important. You know, the last franchise deal left us wanting for so much. We were told 15 years ago that we were having trains that weren't fit for the 21st century. We've still got those trains now. Even now we're told that 1 in every 20 journeys for some years to come will continue to be serviced by the current sort of rusty, battered, out-of-date rolling stock that we currently have. Well, you can clarify that, but 95% travelling on new trains in a few years, you say that still leaves 1 in 20 on the very old 20th century rolling stock that we currently have. You're having to wait until 2020 still to have power supply charging points on trains, we were told in the statement yesterday. And again, 1 in 20 of journeys won't have that basic necessity. It was really important to learn from the mistakes of the last franchise and make sure that they weren't replicated this time round. And I'm not entirely convinced yet that those lessons have been learned. You stated in your statement that on-board catering remains a key feature of services on the Wales and Borders network. Anyone travelling north-south will tell you, apart from the one train a day, one northwards, one to the south that has proper buffet facilities. Anybody travelling on the usual trains north-south will tell you that the trains aren't suitable for those long journeys. 5-hour journeys on trains suitable for short hops. I got on the train in Bord Organ. I would urge anybody to get on the train in Bord Organ. It's a station in the field in the middle of Anglesey. I feel very proud of our little station, but it's a good 2.5, 3 hours until we get a cup of tea served. And I remember asking Arriva, why doesn't the tea trolley come on until Shrewsbury? And the answer I got was because the franchise agreement said that the tea trolley shouldn't come on until Shrewsbury. So getting that franchise agreement right is absolutely vital. So when you say that in the new all-singing, all-dancing franchise deal, as a minimum, provision will be of the same level as that's currently available. That fills me with dread about my journeys. This is from your statement. I'm quoting from your statement yesterday. That fills people with dread because people want to use the train more for north-south journeys, and people are looking for a better service. Being told that current provision of things like a cup of tea, a glass of water on a 5-hour journey shouldn't be too much to ask in the 21st century. Let me ask for your thoughts also on the role of the new system for bringing Wales together. Public transport isn't just about moving people from A to B. Surely our new visionary rail system for Wales should be about effectively bringing A and B closer together, building a network that ties different parts of Wales together. I see very little in that list of improvements that was published yesterday that shows us that we are creating here a genuine Wales-wide rail system. Of course there are improvements, and I see the increase in train numbers on certain routes, on many different routes, improvements for commuters, new trains. That's great, but where is the creation of the all-Wales rail system? On the profit element, and picking up on comments made by Leanne Wood earlier on, rail shouldn't have been privatised in the way that it was, but it is privatised. What I'm looking to see is real public control on the money that flows through the rail system. Could you give us more assurances about how we tie in improved performance, which we hopefully will get from the new operator, with how the money gained from that new performance will actually be driven back into the rail network? Those are the kinds of clarifications that we need now. We lost control of rail. Rail became a cash cow. Companies were able to profit, still are able to profit. We need to make sure that this is watertight. And I'm still not quite yet hearing that this is total public control of rail in Wales. And on the question of not-for-profit rail operators, the First Minister said earlier, well, we can't do it. Law says that we cannot have a public rail system. What we can have, of course, and we investigated this in the last... thank you for the suggestion that I have a few seconds left. We looked in the committee in the last assembly at the prospect of creating a not-for-profit vehicle, which certainly is allowable under legislation. Can you tell me, as a final question, what efforts government made to look at the prospect of finding, developing, sourcing a vehicle for delivering rail not-for-profit? If you tried and failed, why did you still put it in your manifestos that you wanted a not-for-profit system? If you didn't try